as horrible as the pandemic was in so many ways, one of the best things about it is people had time to evolve their own time, evolve their own brain, and maybe approach something they never thought they could, or maybe never wanted to, you know. And you see people baking and making breads and learning pizza, and you know, from there we're going to get a whole new, I don't want to say generation, but a whole new group of artisans. Like this, you know, it's just every part of Italy that I go to for one reason or another. I never want to leave, and it's like that's probably one of the biggest reasons I haven't moved here yet, is because I can't decide where. Because then you meet great people like we are, and you're like, oh, I want to live there because there's great people around there. I love them. They're hospitable. They have like similar like, you know, backgrounds. But then you go somewhere else, and it's like, you know. But this is such a detachment from where I live, and I grow my gardens and my trees, and my backyard is alive. But I'm a corner lot in the suburb, and then.
Take a look at this wildness down here. It's beautiful. This is the Centenary Island from Italy. It's the blue zone one. So this is the place where you live longer. So if you want to live longer, you gotta do what we say, okay?
Guys, help Anna to bring the stuff up.
When a Sardinia woman tells you to grab a huge thing of zucchini and cucumbers,
Shut the fuck up.
you shut the fuck up and you grab it, and you walk the 4 flights of stairs.
Io ho preparato il...
Proto in this. Ursule is one of the most famous town of Colurgiones in the Ogliastra region here in Sardinia. So this is the home, you know, home base of Colurgiones. Vino.
Oh.
Angelo.
Salute. Poverino il ricco. Il povero si arrangia.
So, poverino il ricco is
Però,
like, I'm sorry
poverino
for
il
the rich
povero.
one, because the poor one will find a way, you know? The poor one will always find a way to fix himself. So this is actually un banchetto, which is a table from when you go to school. There is actually stuff signed by the kids at school, you know? So she took that, it's green under, it's the same one that we used to
Altrimenti
use.
fa la crosta.
And she put this thing on top. And here's your table, you know?
She doesn't even put salt in the water for boiling potatoes. No salt.
It's
She wants to keep the flavors totally pure, which is really cool. Grazie.
Va bene?
Perfetto.
Perfetto?
Bene,
Così va bene.
One of the hardest parts about making stuffed pasta is when you put too much filling. And this to me is like, wow, there's not too much filling, but she's gonna make it perfect.
Allora,
That's the funniest part.
me lo bagni. Devi andare verso su con la mano.
Yeah, she's showing off. She's giving us training wheels right now, pretty
Non
much.
rovinateli, perché quelli li chiudiamo male.
So this is an actual stovetop oven. Look at this. Look at that. You got the window. This was her grandmother's. I asked her how old it was, and she said, "It's old. This is from my grandmother." This is beautiful.
Così.
I don't know if I've ever seen one of these, or maybe I saw it and didn't know what it was.
Farm table.
Non è buono per tenere queste cose. Assaggiano. Non è un
Sorry, I got oil over my fingers. I'm getting the pasta. Yeah, there's salt already. She's saying in the filling from the cheese and the actual pasta dough itself, so they don't salt the water. When they fully float, you'll see they start rising more and more. They're completely done. There's really no time. You could time them, but they'll never be the same every time.
Dovrà essere morbido,
Sì,
morbido,
morbido.
morbido. Quindi lo lasciamo ancora un po'.
See, it's nice and soft when the potatoes are cooked and the cheese is melted. This is like where raviolo meets a pierogi meets a dumpling, but it's better than all of them. Not to start a war of any sort, but yeah. Got some clean water in here. It's just layers of cheese on top of the pasta, sauce, and repeat. A different experience to just kind of blanket them with the sauce, because you're still going to taste the quality of the pasta, the dough, the filling. It's not just engulfed in sauce. With spaghetti, it's a different story, but honestly, I would eat these just plain on my hand. Pasta's the star. Ubiquitous pasta in a box with a million benzo eights and whatever eights, and this is just flour, water, oil, salt. Oh, watch out, Rick, you're getting it all over your mother, though.
Yeah.
Oh, she's gonna kill you. That's with Italian woman's hair, you're dead. All right.
Vedi? Questi si possono usare anche per cucinare.
This I make salumi, a lot of salumi.
Yes.
Risaula
Esatto.
and lardo.
Esatto.
I use a lot.
Si può utilizzare per aromatizzare.
Everything smells like beauty.
Questo quando la appendi poi ci metti tutti i cosi.
Questo lo fai seccare.
Sì.
This will be dry. It's dry. You can even clean it. And just hang stuff.
It's so beautiful.
I'll put that right above my oven. So,
Yes.
just hang it there.
She is a forest ranger. For the last 30 years, she has been responsible for keeping the land pure.
Tutte le colline rosse sulla pure tutti i bianchi.
She said that when you visit in different seasons, she said not only the leaves change, but the land changes. She says that the color of the land is completely different, that there are big white flowers everywhere, that everything is green.
It's a different place.
Sì, cambia tutto, i colori, cambiano i profumi.
The perfume.
Yes.
Sì,
I'm
certo.
reading a book. I'm reading a book right now about perfumes. You might know about it.
Sì,
Il tuo.
sì, è vero, è vero.
The shepherds lay out chunks of fennel just like that. When they have heavy meat and cheese, the animal fats helps digest. It comes from nature, it's already there. That's your perfume, just rub that behind your ears and you're good.
Lo devi masticare. Quando l'hai
Posso
finito, butto la cera.
Ma
Sì.
lo fa provare anche a me, che sono geloso. Mi sono comportato bene, no?
Sicuro adesso?
This is
Lo sta
honey from the flower of the eucalyptus. That's honey that you never ever touch. Non si tocca mai, because that belongs to the bee family. She said that there are other containers that are for them, but they divide it. And they know they have a mutual respect for one another, where they never touch that box of honey.
Faccio vedere come
Stays in the
nasce,
family. She said she's going to let us see how they're born.
come sta nascendo il latte.
Do you see they're literally coming out of the honeycomb and being
Eccola
born?
qua, eccola.
They're it's born right now, she said. We just watched the birth of a honeybee.
Di spazio e le
bella giornata.
Siamo gente moderna di antica memoria.
Wow. We're modern people with an antique memory. Your parents speak English?
My mom a little bit, him no. Actually,
Because it's normal for our parents, your father, to not be able to see beyond his world. Il mondo suo è diverso dal mondo tuo perché lui ha un altro punto di vista. He has a different point of view because all he knows is this, which is amazing. But you want to know more so that you can bring other things back to this, giusto? E per questo deve venire, a forza. You have to come now.
In the U.S., they don't allow this, right? But can you imagine, like, all this microflora that's in this board that contributes to the specific flavor, the uniqueness of this individual cheese?
Smell the smoke.
If you started sterile every time, it'd be like starting from nothing. You wouldn't have all these layers of
Smell the
of
smoke.
flavor. And they're actually smoking them on this board too.
Yeah, it's like funk meets fire.
Now I could almost bite that.
Funk meets fire. That's our new rap group.
I love it. Funk meets fire.
It's what they eat,
Yeah,
you know.
sure.
Hygiene.
From the nutrients in the earth to the nutrients in the grass.
Sì, dai nutrienti che ci sono nella terra.
And then
nella-
the animal transforms those proteins a specific way. Sheep, goat, cow, they all do it different.
Everything that comes from the ground, from the earth, they didn't invent any of this stuff.
C'è la
you know,
Sardegna.
They just harnessed it.
Yeah.
And understood it well.
It has to be an indigenous breed,
Purebred.
purebred.
La pecora è svelita. Deve essere solo sarda.
Okay, so to make fiore sardo, the sheep has to be only Sardinia. So they put the male, they put it in there, so they can get them pregnant, and they're gonna give birth in December to have the new lambs for next year. So it's passed from when they new born, it goes 1 year and a half before they start milking.
Oh, okay.
Saltano e vanno pure. La prima che
There's a little bit of feed, so while they're being milked, they have a little something to snack on, keep them still.
It's okay. We come in peace. We just want your cheese.
To produce at least 10,000 wheels. So that's a pretty good life satisfaction for mine.
10,000
10,000 wheels in here. This is not a massive
Wow.
production. This is it's something small, but at the same time they keep quality and they're doing very, very well, you know.
anche mio babbo.
Quindi anche suo padre
Dal primi del Novecento, mio papà, quando era come un nonno addirittura nei nozieri.
Okay, so
Dal diciamo,
so
dal
the beginning of
900,
900s, his father in Ozieri, which is a town in the Barbagia region of Sardinia, they were making cheese and they were making fiore sardo.
Sì,
faceva-
sì.
So
Poi
they were
è
making
stato
fiore
il centro
sardo.
Sardegna e poi
So
insomma,
it's basically 120 years they're making this stuff, you know. So they're the master of it, pretty much, you know.
As you can see, the Italians want to have control of whatever their product is from start to finish. So they literally raise the sheep, milk the sheep, transform the milk, package it, turn it into cheese, sell it
It's
to
also a
stores.
process that's protected by the government in order to keep the purity.
For this
of the product.
specific cheese, for this specific cheese.
Wine, yes, wine. It's very, it's closely related to smelling.
Of course.
Yes, so all the memories come from
You're
smelling.
right. They say that, yeah, the most amazing memories are reminded through smell.
Yeah, that's what happens. So all the vineyards you see here are have been planted in 2009 from the family. So we used my grandfather used to make wine, but as everyone in this area, it was very popular to have a small production of grapes for the home consumption of the wine. So we've been doing something else. We've been doing commerce. Come si dice? Commercio. Commercio. Sì. And in 2009 we decided to start this business, and planting the vineyard, it takes a long time for winemaking, because you have to plant the vineyards, wait for 3 years maybe, and then do all the buildings, and so it's very long-term project. So you take off.
Oh, the bottom part.
Yeah, the bottom and something here.
It takes away from the nutrients of the rest of the vine.
Exactly. So you have to do this job now. It's called green pruning. I had the experience in the COVID time, because I usually go. I'm hyperactive. I have a lot of things to do for the work and everything. And when that part was missing, I was lost. I was like, oh, how am I?
Me too.
How am I feeling this day?
Me too.
I was coming here every day, but
For no reason.
no customer. No, I was working in the vineyards at the end. I was like, there's no.
She was
like
out
that.
working in the vineyard.
Because I had to do something, and we needed help actually, because not many people were allowed to come here from the other towns. So we were late with the working, so I was working like 10 hours a day. But I know
It's a good experience.
Yeah.
The structures, the neurologic structures. Nuraghi.
Yeah, we have one. We have two actually. Yeah.
No way.
This area is full of nuraghi. They are underground.
Sono i tuoi? They're yours.
No, they're not ours.
Whose are they?
It's
Il governo?
Sì.
Yeah,
Yes.
anche se la terra tua, even though it's their land, the government still owns the ancient ruins.
It's a common, come si dice, è un bene comune. It's a common
It's owned by,
interest. It's a common interest because it's archaeological, historical. But usually there are too many nuraghis. They're underground, but they're
Underground or on the ground?
underground.
Under, sotto
Yeah,
terra.
you have to do an excavation.
Oh, wow.
But it's very expensive. It takes like 10 years, 15 years.
So you can't see them on your land. You have to, you
I'll
know
show
they're
you later.
here.
Yeah. A lot of stone here, but it's a nuraghi.
That's it.
Oh my gosh, Rick, wait until you see this.
The nuraghe was built during the Middle Bronze Age, which means here 1400 before Christ. Okay? So now try to go back to the past and think about what's important. What's important for you now and what was important for them at the moment. So they didn't have TV, they didn't have other things to get distracted with, or and they were really connected with Mother Earth and with the sky and with everything.
Of course.
But when they built the nuraghe, they really wanted to have something important, something that would have stayed there forever, something that would have connected them to something they didn't know maybe. So they really, and it was a symbol for them. So they really used all the energy they had to build that.
It's so different from our daily lives. Like, we don't have this. Like, for us, so I drive around, I see a house, I'm like, wow, that house is 150 years old. Like, it's crazy
That's
old.
it.
You know, and it's even in that simplest form, but at the same time, these are times in history where there was so much being figured out. In ways, it's almost impossible that it really should be still standing, because there's no mortar, because it's in such a terrain. But this will last past all of our homes. Like, all of the modern structures will be gone one day, and these will still be here.
It's actually of the earth.
Yeah.
It's a piece of the earth itself.
Yes.
You really can feel the energy. It feels like there's a piece of history that we're getting to experience.
The community was the most important thing. So think about a society, an horizontally organized society. So equal. Nobody. There was nobody that was really the boss, let's say. So deciding for the others, but all together they were choosing somebody. They were just working to let the community survive, not just survive, but live well. Yeah.
It's interesting that even back then, that the culture let women have power.
Yeah.
Even if the power was divine or intended for divinity. It's
Was it merely symbolic, or were they allowed? Were they part of the government? Were they part of the process
I
of...
can't say that. I don't know. We don't know. We can't. We don't have any written documents. But what we can see is that at the beginning everybody was just doing his her own part for the community, and the community was really the most important thing. So everybody was just building nuragues for the community. They were baking bread, let's say, for the community. They were just everything for the community. So this hut was a place where they had the most important meetings, and that means not just everything, economical meetings, religious ones, all around the model of the nuraghe, and of course they were having also good food.
Good food. Sempre in Italia, mangi bene.
So one thing our guide said that really stuck with me a lot is that, you know, Sardinia is very attached to the sea. She said as much as we're protected by the sea, we're also kind of entrapped, kind of isolated by it. And a lot of the longevity of this island, it's based on the ability of the people to adapt to survive. So not only do you have to survive a certain way when no one can attack you, but you have to adapt and survive a certain way when you can't go anywhere. I mean these people did everything they could, and they still do, to live off the land, to preserve the land, to preserve the history. I mean, those buildings, there's 8,000 of them on the island. They represent the people here. They're stone, they're steadfast. It's always going to be a Sardinian culture.
Here, out of all of the trials and tribulations of their culture, they were intelligent enough to find water. And the water over here in this well, it never goes away. When the land was dry, they always could find water here. And still to this day, there's water. Water is life. They said it's the life source. It's what keeps us going and keeps us connected. It started with the Nuraghe people, and they did not believe in baptism, but they did believe in submerging themselves into water in a way that cleansed their souls. And we see the effects of that to this day. It was clearly built in a way that was meant to last.
Blows my mind because it's so different than all the Nuraghe around here. Everything's precise. I mean, you can't even fit a piece of paper in between here. Amazing. Oh my God, let's go in there. Stripped out naked.
You know, the thing that moves me the most about guys like him is he could be working in Milano, he could be working in New York City, he could be in Dubai, he could be making tons of money, Michelin stars, but he's here in the business his father started. He's living a pipe dream for someone like me, and he appreciates it.
Quella è muscle, right? Quella è io penso che sia la lingua. That's the tongue.
Fregua.
Okay,
però prima è stato con olio.
Okay. And the one part we make a cream with the sauce, vongole and the portaca.
Okay. So open, separate.
Yes.
Everything.
Yes.
Tutto. I feel bad when I go in someone's kitchen. Now they're not open for service, but I always feel bad. Like, am I in the way? Am I not in the way? Standing there picking the clams, I'm like, I love doing that. He's like, I'm sorry, this is the worst job. I go, I don't care. This is great. This is the porchetta.
Wow. Show him when you cut it. Ma l'arrosto è solo forno. Sì. No, solo forno. Solo forno.
Sì, forno.
So next time I'm coming to New York.
Yeah.
That's right.
Oh,
I love fun. Why not?
Absolutely.
And he's going to make his food for the Americans.
I love it.
We're going to bring it to New York. We'll do
James Beard House?
5 cities.
James Beard, New York City?
With Andrea. Con Andrea.
He could be a world-renowned chef on television. Instead, he's making amazing food with the ingredients he loves, that he grows, that he cares for, the animals, the herbs, just the name of this place. It's named after wild thyme. One of the hardest things is like naming a business, because it's stuck there. And do you go the route of just something that would be recognizable or enjoyable, or you go something that's meaningful? And I'm sure there's tons of wild thyme around here, so marmita. Marmita.
Marmita.
Marmita.
tuo, quindi non devi fare gare di apnea, quindi meno ci metti, meno tempo ci metti, sempre meglio è. So you think that you're swimming in the sea and the sea, I mean, it's part of us, but we're not fishes. So when you're fishing, you're not doing an apnea challenge that how long you stay down. And every time you jump, every jump it's different. And it can be a different situation. So depending on you feel, how much you're moving down there, it can be even up to 3-4 minutes. Wow. Depends. Every 4 minutes underwater. That's a whole song.
Swim a whole song.
That's a whole section.
So when you're down there, I'm imagining that time slows down also.
The sensation is like if you keep diving, you're just gonna find another dimension after that. You know, it's you are afraid, but at the same time you wanna go there. You know?
No, you can see the bottom a little bit. Oh, look, we got another fish.
Yeah, more nuts. I saw really good olives. Firm, salty,
And a nice natural flavor.
It'd be good for a martini.
Un pochettino così ogni volta che va per mare, il mare sì, sarebbe pulito. Sì. Pulito.
But of course, there is people that they will throw some weird stuff. He says sometimes I find whole bags of trash floating in the water. There's a lot of stupid people that they unfortunately leave a lot of stuff around that they don't care. And he's saying if everybody has some common sense in this planet and you just do a little bit and you just pick up that bottle of water that you see while you're walking back to your car, the sea wouldn't be that dirty.
Soil because it releases humidity up to the trees, which these olives are so sensitive. As strong as they are and resilient, and there's 3,000-year-old olive trees they're finding in the ground, like they're that sensitive. And it's amazing. Just the Mediterranean is just like perfect for olives.
È una dimensione di quasi 15 ettari.
So
So
right
for the
now,
acquisizioni-
with the here, they acquired almost 15 hectares, which are, I think it's probably 35-40 acres of land with about 4.000 piante,
Sì.
con quasi with about 4,000 plants in total, which
Allora-
it's a big number. They basically did this new irrigation system. It's like they do IV to the plant,
Yeah.
so it's an
Direct
underground.
injection. So underneath here is all,
Yeah.
all the
Tutto
irrigation.
sotto.
Tutto sotto.
Quindi
Esatto.
risparmio, enorme risparmio idrico, enorme risparmio di fertilizzanti, perché diamo tutto.
Everything goes through fertilization,
tutto
the water.
Con questo sistema siamo riusciti ad abbattere i costi di gestione, perché l'azienda va avanti con me e il personale avventizio quando ci serve. Quindi
They
abbiamo
only
ridotto
it's like
al
three,
massimo.
it's like 3-4, maybe they can reach 8 employees depending on the season. So doing this kind of new irrigation system, they kind of low down the cost.
Save on
and
the
stuff.
employment.
Yes.
And then the trees do the most of the work.
Energia elettrica, quindi non abbiamo più un costo per sollevare l'acqua dai pozzi.
So they basically they have the solar panel to also start using regular electricity. They get
Quindi
the sun,
siamo autosufficienti
sun
per quanto
energy,
riguarda elettricità.
and they're autosufficient on what it's actually
So it's
electricity.
sustainable.
Yeah,
It's a sustainable farm. We're saying
Quindi
basically he's a sustainable farm. He's not reliant on any outside
Yes,
sources.
correct.
And the computer is letting him relax a little
Yes.
more.
Quindi anche
Quindi
in
il computer ti aiuta a rilassare.
Look, it's great. Look, these are spuds. These are new trees. These are new trees. And a lot of places, when they have problems with the tree, whether it's a bacteria or a bug, and they're losing the tree, they'll keep trimming it to try to keep it alive. But then they'll focus on these because these are just baby olive trees sprouting from the ground. They'll someday replace if they lose any of the actual health or even the existence of the tree. It could be gone. And here you go. So this is basically a smart filtration system. It recognizes dirty, impure water and filters it out and rejects it from actually entering the irrigation system.
Because he has 11 blocks in all the farm. Every block has about 300 plants. So he gives the same amount of water to every plant, pretty much.
Okay.
If you look over here, you can understand. If just step in here, the ground is so soft, then you come in here so hard. It means that under here there is the irrigation line, so you have all this nice grass growing.
It's so crazy.
Yeah.
It's so evident.
And this is the only farm in Sardinia that has this type of irrigation. Questa è l'unica azienda in Sardinia.
Cosa? L'etichetta?
Sì. Questo vuole
Family. Everybody thinks Italian food is just regional. It's
Yeah.
down to houses. Keep sweating like a pig. This is why you never mess with an Italian mother or grandmother, because they do this kind of stuff and they got the guns that every guy that goes to the gym dreams about. You know, you do this every day, every morning for your family or for the neighbors, or, you know, in her case for the local bakery if they want some special. And we wonder why they live so long. You know, you can make something quicker. It won't have as much character, but you know, it's the process of, you know, opening a package or breaking a little sweat and actually creating. You know, created food is, in my opinion, always better taste, better. All senses come just alive. You know, you taste a piece of bread that you put your time into, you get that satisfaction. You see people's faces when they really eat something that you put effort into. You know, in the New York metropolitan area and, you know, other parts, of course, of America, it's everything's a rush, instant gratification. It's, you want it handy, you want it now, and you know, it's part of our life. It's not, you know, schedule-wise, work-wise, traffic, all the things we deal with. It's not always, you know, easy to do something slow. So if you take the time, you have the time, it's good to do it once in a while. It gives you like a disconnect. She wants to share this with us because to her, it's a tradition. It's made with love. This is not a product. You may have a resulting product to eat, but it's not, you know, she's not writing cookbooks. This is the history of her family, because this is what made her happy as a child, and she made it for her children and the grandchildren. And there's this is for her, it's like an enjoyment. One, that we are interested in it, and two, that we're gonna treat this with like the love and respect that is in this book for decades. I mean, it's amazing.